Hey guys! Today we're going to be talking about the Zayin! Zayin makes the Z sound, like in zebra. The Peshat level of understanding for this letter is that its numerical value is 7 and it means sword. Woo. So let's put that away. Axe. Okay. And a crown, or in this case, a tiara, but work just as good. Now for the Remez level of understanding. If you look at the Zayin, doesn't it look a lot like a sword? It has the leg is the blade, and this part is the handle. You hold it like this, like in this sword. Yeah. Flip that over. The Zayin also represents the crown/scepter. The sword means power and authority. And the axe is meant for survival or provision, and it's used for cutting down trees. This one might not be the best for that. If you look at the Zayin closely, it kind of looks like a crowned vav. A woman of valor is the crown of her husband. The vav here is, this is the husband and this is the wife. The woman is the crown of her husband. So Zayin is the crowned vav. Fun fact, did you know that this letter was adopted by the Greeks? And that's where we got the letter Z from. Yep, actually true. Now for the third level of understanding, the Darash. Zayin is spelled with a Zayin, a Yud, and a Nun. We haven't talked about the Nun yet. The Sa level of understanding for this letter is that Zayin gives us an understanding. It sustains us with the axe, remember? And God is the provider, giver of all we need. He is our king, provider of all that we need. Shabbat is on the 7th day of the week, okay? And the numerical value of Zayin is 7. The elements of Shabbat are drinking wine, but we like to drink grape juice, drinking wine, fish, soup, meat, eating challah bread, lighting the candles, and you rest and you sit and enjoy all the things that are provided to you. Let's go over all the elements of Shabbat. The first one is wine, or grape juice. You say wine in Hebrew as Zayin, okay? And it is composed of 3 Hebrew letters, 2 Yuds and 1 Nun. The 2 Yuds have a numerical value of 20, 10 each. 10, yeah. And the Nun has a numerical value of 50. When you add the 2 Yuds plus the Nun, you get 70. If you take 70 and add 7 plus 0, you get 7, which is the number of the Shabbat and the number of Zayin. Now for the second element, the challah, which is like bread. Challah is composed of 3 Hebrew letters, chet, lamed, and hey. Chet has a numerical value of 8, and lamed has a numerical value of 30. And hey has a numerical value of 5. When you add all 3 of those together, you get 43. When you add the 4 plus the 3 in 43, you get 7, which is the numerical value of the Shabbat and the Zayin. The third element of Shabbat is eating fish. It is common for Jewish people to eat fish on the Shabbat. You say fish in Hebrew as dag. That's what fish is in Hebrew. That is composed of 3 Hebrew letters. 2 Hebrew letters. Whoops. Dag and Gimel. Dalet and Gimel. Are you okay? Dalet has a numerical value of 4 and Gimel has a numerical value of 3. When you add 4 plus 3, you get 7, which is again the Shabbat and the numerical value of Zayin. Now for the fourth element of Shabbat, which is soup or merat in Hebrew. Soup is composed of 3 Hebrew letters, Mem, Resh, and Kaf. Mem has a numerical value of 40, Resh has a numerical value of 200, and Kaf has a numerical value of 100. When you add all those together, you get 340. Now, if you add the 3 plus the 4 plus the 0 and 340, you get 7, which is again the Shabbat and the numerical value of Zayin. The next element of Shabbat is meat, and that's basar in Hebrew. Basar is composed of 3 Hebrew letters, Bet, Shin, and Resh. Bet has a numerical value of 2, and Shin has a numerical value of 300, and Resh has a numerical value of 200. When you add all of those together, you get 502. When you add the 5 plus the 0 plus the 2 in 502, you get 7, which is Shabbat and the numerical value of the Zayin. The next element of Shabbat is candle, and those are composed of 2 Hebrew letters. Nun, which has a numerical value of 50, and Resh, which has a numerical value of 200. When you add those together, you get 250. When you add the 2 plus the 5 plus the 0, you get 7. And you guessed it, that is the Shabbat and the numerical value of Zayin. Each of the elements of Shabbat point back to 7, and there are 7 elements to Shabbat. The 7th element of Shabbat is that you rest and you reign and you enjoy all of the provisions that God has given you. That is why we are commanded to delight in the Lord's Shabbat.
Oh my gosh, I love Shabbat. We get to have people over. I get to spend time with my friends. We don't have to go outside and do yard work in the beating sun because my dad's home. And it's just amazing. I love it.
I love the fact that we just get to rest. We don't have to worry about homework or any other work. I just get to forget about everything for one day.
Chillax, bro.
So that is the solid level of understanding for the Zayin. Now we're going to teach you how to draw and paint it.
This wonderful, cool sword. So awesome.
To draw this amazing letter, we're going to start at the top and work our way down through the entire Zayin. So for this part, I highly suggest using your ruler. I will be using it as well because we want it to be as centered as possible with the middle line. So we're going to start at the top with this thingy here. We want it to be really small because we're gonna practice mirror imaging here. So do it a little bit, then try making the same on the other side. Then we're going to go straight out just a little bit. And remember, we don't want the top to be so big because we want it more focused on the sword itself. Next, we're going to go down in an angle that way and down an angle this way. Still trying to mirror it. Then we're going to try coming together. Don't go all the way to the line because we still want to, we need to make a straight line to make this part of the handle. I'm going to make this one with a mirror image. I'll say, I'm trying to make it mirror. There, that's better. Then we're just gonna connect them like this. We'll come back to the top later. We're gonna continue on with the sword. So we're just gonna go out in an angle. Not too long of a line. We don't want it too long. Then we're going to go straight down. Stop right about here. Then make a straight line like this. And we're going to do something like a parallelogram. I'm going to go down, straight line a little bit, then we're going to go down like that to make something like this. And from here, this is where you can use your ruler. Some rulers have this edging line sticking out. Mine is clear. I don't know if you can see it that well, but it's meant to so that you can use your pencil and go along it. So we're gonna start at the bottom here, and we're gonna go straight out to make the this thing. I don't know what it's called. Start maybe right about there. Go straight out, not too far. And you still want to make it symmetrical. So we want both lines to be about the same size. Just about like that. Then we're gonna go straight down a little bit, not too far. Still trying to mirror. And we're just gonna go downward. We're gonna bend in, then we're gonna keep going and bend outward to make this part. So we're gonna go like down, then up. Same with the other side. You want to try mirroring it as much as possible. Then up. So right now we're gonna start drawing the letter. If you can see it, we're gonna start on the top left corner quadrant. Maybe like right about here, not all the way out, but you still want it within the parameters of the sword. We're gonna go down and stop right here. So then we're gonna pretend like it's still going, and we're gonna continue it right about here. We're gonna start bending downward. Now, even with this part, you still want it symmetrical. You want just about as much spacing here as here for the Zayin. I'm gonna make this go more straight. Like that. We're gonna start back at the top, and we're going to curve outward a little bit, not too much. Start curving inward. Make this go down more. We're gonna curve upward and keep going to the bottom right here. Then we're going to start opening up very little. We don't want it too big of an open. Stop right about there. We're going to do the same with the other side. We're going to open up at the same point we opened up on the other one. So not too symmetrical. Now we're going to finish the sword. We're going to start right about, if you make the sword too wide, then it would have to be like a little bit longer. So we want it to be at a good angle. So I'll start my sword right about here, as straight as possible. I'm gonna make a sharp edge right there. So I'm gonna take my ruler. I should have used the ruler for this one, but I didn't. And still trying to stay symmetrical. Make the straight line. Looks pretty straight. And make the angle down. Like that. So we're almost done. We're just gonna do some decorations inside. we're going to do another double, to make it more like a double-edged sword. We're going to make another straight line. Just to make like a double edge. Right here. Instead of connecting, we're gonna keep going. And stop right there. We're gonna do the same for the other side. You want it thin, you don't want it too thick. Then we're gonna pretend like this kept going. And to our line right here. Go straight up a little bit. I'm gonna make a circle. Now remember, we're not copy machines. Mine's gonna look different from yours and yours from mine. So we wanna make sure that mine is never gonna be the same as the one in the picture. So you can also get creative, you can do your own stuff. What I'm gonna do with mine, I'm gonna make a diamond type of thing for this part. You can do it too, or you can do whatever you want. You can make it look in the picture. There's many things you could do. So for what I'm going to do for the diamond, I'm going to stay parallel with this, do a straight line like that. Then I'm going to go parallel and do a straight line and connect to the bottom. Gonna do it again. Put a line through here. And make a straight line through the middle. We're gonna keep doing that. Like that. We're gonna do the same with the other side. Try keeping them evenly spaced. So that's what I'm doing for this part. Put a little circle here maybe. I'm gonna make 2 lines. I'm gonna fix that, it wasn't too straight. That's better. I make 2 lines right here maybe. In the middle I'm gonna put another one of these circle things on the side, like this. Do it in the middle, like that. I'm gonna make like this little square thing. I'm gonna keep like making the squares go smaller. Try making the squares as even as possible. So to make something like that. So that's what I'm going to do with this. You can do any more decorative things, but you want to keep in mind that you will be painting this. So you want to make sure that you'll be able to paint it still. But other than that, that's it for the Zayin.
To paint the Zayin, this is the colors that we will use. Real blue, black, white, yellow, timeless gray, and summer sky. We will also use some glue and little gems, which is optional if you want to put them on here to make it look shiny. The first thing I'm going to do is do my background, and I'm going to cover the entire paper with real blue. Now we are going to read Psalm 119 verses 49 to 56. But a quick note before we read it. Did you notice how this letter starts with verse 49, and 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, go ahead and read.
Verses 49 through 50. Remember the word to your servants, on which ye have made me hope. My comfort in my affliction is this: your word has kept me alive. This is the Peshas level, and it means the physical.
Yes. So it says, remember the word to your servant. Servant is that main word there. Remember how this letter means axe, or axe is one of its many meanings? Well, back then, the servants used to use their axe to bring provision to the house.
Next is the Remez. Verse 51 through 52. The arrogant have viciously ridiculed me, yet I did not turn away from your Torah. I remember your judgments from of old. I remember your judgments from of old, Adonai, and comfort myself.
Did you notice how it said, I remember? How do you remember, right? Your brain remembers, your head remembers. That's how you remember things. Well, also, you remember thoughts, right? You think of thoughts. When we have bad thoughts and those thoughts overtake us, we have to use the sword, which is Zayin, to remove those thoughts, basically just destroy them. And then in those bad thoughts' place, we need to think of good thoughts.
Burning indignation grips me because of the wicked who forsake your Torah. Your decrees have become my songs in the house where I dwell. This is the Derash level of understanding, and it means spirit.
Did you notice how David really hates the wicked? Well, this section is to the spirit. So, you can either have a pure spirit or a wicked spirit. The wicked are not purified, and David is expressing in how he does not like the wicked.
Lastly, but not least, is verses 55 through 56. In the night I remember your name, Adonai, and keep watching over your Torah. This is my own, that I keep your precepts. This is the Sod level, and it means the essence of God.
What I got from these two verses is basically, when we obey his instructions, we know who he is. His Torah is his instructions. That's why it says, I keep your precepts in verse 56. We have just read to you Psalm 119 verses 49 through 56 and we explained how this correlates with the letter Zayin. So now that most of my background is done, I'm just going to go in with my number 2 brush, angle brush, to get these little edges here because I need to be very careful not to get any blue on the sword. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my black to paint in the actual Zayin. And my number 4 angle brush. Now with my number 2 angle brush, I am going to paint in these 2 little sections here with the black paint. Also with my number 2 angle brush, I'm going to paint in this little square completely with the black paint. Now that my Zayin is a little dry, I'm going to paint this big yellow stick here with my number 2 angle brush. I'm going to be using yellow. Now, still with my number 2 angle brush, I'm going to paint in this area around the gray little stick there. With my number 2 angle brush, I'm going to paint in the actual blade part of the sword, and to do that, I'm going to use a combination of Timeless Gray and white. I'm just going to mix them up on my palette and then begin to paint. I'm going to use the same white Timeless Gray combination to do these little pillars right here on top. Finally, I'm going to use my Summer Sky Blue to do this giant diamond on the top and these 2 little white bars here that haven't been painted. Now, I'm going to take these little jewels here and put them where these 3 gray pillars end and in the middle of this square. They're like little rhinestones, and with the paint, they should stick. But if you're having trouble getting them on, then use glue. I used 4. So thanks for painting the Zayin with me! Today you learned about the
Zayin!
Zayin!
Like in
zebra!
Zebra! You also learned that the Zayin means sword, axe, and crown, or in this case, tiara. You also learned how the Zayin looks like a crown vav, a sword, and
an axe!
An axe!
You've learned how to spell Zayin, which is Zayin, Yud, and Nun. You've also learned about the 7 elements of Shabbat and how we drink wine or grape juice, you eat challah bread, about the fish and the meat and the soup and lighting the candles, and how we're supposed to rest and reign and enjoy all of the provisions that God has given us.
Don't we have a good God?
God gives us an understanding and He sustains us. He is our King and provider of all that we need. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Shalom!